Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. A quick update on the latest regarding the decision by SADC on the Zimbabwe elections. This is a letter from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from Zambia announcing that the SADC organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation, which is at the present moment chaired by President Hichilema of Zambia, was going to have a virtual conference meeting to discuss, among other things, the SADC Election Observer Team report on the recent elections in Zimbabwe. This is progress. Yes, we would have wanted it to have happened a lot sooner, but it is happening. And I think we should be very pleased with that. I'll just read the letter. Additionally, the SADC Electoral Observer Mission report on the harmonized elections in the Republic of Zimbabwe, as well as other impending elections in the SADC regions, will also be discussed at the summit. The values and principles that underpin the promotion of democracy and good governance are also the foundation of Zambia's foreign policy. The last paragraph just confirming that before this summit among the four presidents, there was an extraordinary Council of Ministers meeting, which was scheduled earlier on from 9 o'clock to 12:30 today. The summit itself between the presidents just finished at 4:30 Zambian time, which would have been now nearly an hour ago. So hopefully now we can await the decision of what the council itself has decided on this issue. We have waited for a long time for this summit to take place. Now it has taken place. The wheel is moving, maybe not as fast as some of us would want to see it, but it is nonetheless moving. And we should be pleased with that. And so I thought I would just give you an update on that one, a heads up. I hope in the next day or so, we should find out what they decided on this issue. We sincerely hope that they will uphold the SADC Election Observer Team's report and deny ZANU-PF political legitimacy. Last night, I posted a discussion. I'll just quickly reiterate what has not been confirmed that was the official position, but the social media was alive yesterday with postings claiming that SADC had asked ZANU-PF and CCC to consider three options. The number one option was that there should be fresh elections supervised by SADC and the UN. The second option is that there should be a national transition authority composed of ZANU-PF, CCC, and members from the civic group in Zimbabwe. The third option was that there should be a government of national unity composed of CCC and ZANU-PF. Personally, I have dismissed the first option as a complete non-starter. We can't go into fresh elections without fixing what got us into this mess. If we go into fresh elections and we have not fixed the fundamental problems, it will only mean these elections will go ahead. Hopefully they'll be free, fair, and credible. But as soon as they have left, if there should be a by-election, are we going to call SADC and the AU again, the UN rather, to come and supervise the by-election? And the next election, are we going to call them again? It's ridiculous. We know the root cause of the problem is the failure to hold free, fair, and credible election is because we had failed to implement the democratic reforms even when we had the golden opportunity to do so in the 2008 to 2013 GNU. And we should not be kicking the can down the road because we are in a mad rush to hold fresh elections. The second option, I think, of the three is probably the one I will have to choose if I was forced to. Why will I be reluctant to choose it? Simple. This National Transition Authority, if it has ZANU-PF and CCC in it, the two parties will be the dominant players in that National Transition Authority. And the very idea of including them is ridiculous. There cannot be any other reason for saying that they should be included other than a feeble excuse to appease the leaders of the two parties. They were in the GNU of 2008 to 2018. They failed to implement even one meaningful democratic reform. And we are where we are today because of that failure. So to keep them in the National Transition Authority to do what? If they fail to implement even one meaningful reform during the last GNU, what chance is there that they will do so now? Particularly if that National Transition Authority is agreed on and SADC and the rest of the world walk away and expect that National Transition Authority to do whatever is required. In the last GNU, SADC was the guarantor of the global political agreement. And so SADC continued to play the part. And I think if you were to speak to some of the members who were active in that SADC body, notably Minister Lindiwe Zulu from South Africa, she would tell you that they tried their best to get ZANU-PF, to get MDC to implement the democratic reforms throughout the 5 years and failed. So if the two parties are going to be in the National Transition Authority and there will be the dominant players there, definitely ZANU-PF would want to be the dominant player. I don't give that National Transition Authority any chance of implementing any meaningful reform. As for the last option, the third option, the government of national unity, composed of the two parties, this is just a remake of the two of 2008 to 2013 GNU. If they fail to implement even one reform, then what are the chances that they will do so now? I think there should be a fourth option. And the fourth option should be a national transition authority composed entirely of individuals who will deliver the democratic reforms to get Zimbabwe back on track. The idea of appeasing ZANU-PF and CCC is out of the question. The country is in a serious economic and political situation because these two parties betrayed the nation. We cannot let them hold the nation to ransom. At least continue to hold the nation to ransom. That would be absolutely a betrayal of the people, of the ordinary people of Zimbabwe. We should be clear what we want here. We want a national transition authority that will implement all the democratic reforms to ensure free, fair, and credible elections, not only the next one, but in future. That will guarantee all the basic freedoms and human rights of all Zimbabweans. This National Transition Authority is meant to be a break away from this culture that somehow ZANU-PF has got the divine right to rule the country. And if we're going to make that break, we should make it now. To compromise this National Transition Authority and expect better things is ridiculous. This is the time to make that break. ZANU-PF and their junior partners, CCC, should be left in absolutely no doubt that they were responsible for landing the country into this mess. And all we are saying is they should give the country the chance to get out of the mess. And to think they can hold the nation to ransom is unacceptable. This is what has got us into this mess, and we really want to get out of the mess. So, at the present moment, the number one thing we're waiting for is to hear what the SADC summit has decided. And then we can discuss what next. So on that note, yeah, I'll finish it there. This was just a quick one to confirm the SADC meeting has taken place. Thank you very much and good afternoon.